What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this, I want to break down some big news that just came out involving China and the USA that led to NIO and many other Chinese tickers to sink the way they did. I'm also going to break down some news involving Tesla, what's going on with SPY and many other tickers, and what's also going on as time progresses. But before I break anything down all this information, before I talk about some very important new changes going on with the charts and the developments so far, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. So, anyways, why is NIO down 6.8%? What happened? Tesla was also down about 3.8%. This news did affect Tesla to some extent, not to mention some words from Elon Musk. But I want to break down some new important things going on for now. So, when it comes to the market, we don't have much economic data for tomorrow, just a bunch of like Fed speakers and just very, very minor pieces of data. But what's going to be more important is going to be OPEX. So we have basically millions of options expiring tomorrow. We have over 1.2 or over 1.3 million calls expiring. We have over 3 million puts expiring, with the put to call ratio being 2.3. And we're going to be watching to see how this looks moving forward. If I was a market maker, honestly, anything could still benefit me. So if I were a market maker, I would basically, if I held the market up, basically, this could be fine because there's so many puts. If the market was flat, this would hurt a lot of options holders, which would be not really that impactful. And if I drop the market really hard, I would try to get closer to max pain. I think that's more beneficial. So there's a risk of that tomorrow, but just to be safe, we'll see if the market makers try to squeeze shorts or if they do the opposite and they actually try to once again get us closer to max pain. We'll just have to wait and see. As far as NIO goes, NIO announced right over here that it had the successful conclusion in Hi-Fi. 108 teams from universities signed up for the year's races. And once again, this was very interesting to witness as they're sharing ideas and technologies. So good for NIO. I can't wait to see what the long term holds for it. But for the short term, NIO is dropping as we had some new news that came out. So what happened was in in the U.S. basically, we saw President Xi and President Joe Biden. They met one another, and they were basically talking about policy and things like that. And as this basically continued, we had some negative news. So during the summits, the two leaders agreed to allow for direct communications between the militaries. Nothing was mentioned, however, about the ongoing tax and tariffs in place in the US and China, and investors were hoping that these issues would be addressed during the summit. So that, as a result, from Alibaba, we also saw more and more changes from them. It's not planning for a public spin-off of its cloud business, which wasn't the best of news. So with that all potentially happening, this led to NIO selling off. There was also more fears about the difficulty NIO may have in entering the US amidst these other issues, these expenditures, and etc. So with all this going on, we'll be watching to see this as we're seeing more and more uncertainty about NIO's ability to expand beyond China, and this led to a sell-off for NIO. This also affected other companies which were involved, such as Tesla, to some extent. So this hurts NIO to some extent. We'll be watching to see how this affects it. It sold on high volume, 69 million almost. So lots of sellers came in, and the short volume started to go up just a little bit. It went from being 42% to about 49%. So a slight increase, and it may have gone up even higher today. Nothing has changed on the technical side. The price price ratio has dropped as it's showing some weakness. Fridays only tend to be green about 53% of the time, and we'll see how it goes from there. So, what am I seeing on the charts? I want to just call out a couple of things before I talk about NIO. Just for NIO, real quick, NIO is looking a little weak right now. The 4 hour remains bearish. There's no true sign of a bounce yet, unless NIO could get above the 50 EMA on the 4 hour time frame at 7.6. If it breaks that, it could try to rebound and try to fill this gap in closer to 7.9. But as of right now, it's looking a bit bearish. The daily chart on NIO, it looks like it's trying to hold up right here, but it might just consolidate tomorrow before making a move. So I don't expect it to make a V-shaped recovery yet. We need to see how it reacts to 7.6. We're also going to be watching these levels. But I want to call out something else that could affect the market and NIO, and that's going to be OPEX. So what does that mean? With all the options expiring, this could cause more volatility within the markets. As for SPY, we have some very mixed looking signals. The daily is looking a bit more bullish, but on the smaller time frames, we've been just stuck consolidating, going back and forth for 3 straight days. And then on top of that, we had this head and shoulders like pattern that is still technically valid, but it's looking like it's just being extended quite a bit. And we'll see if this plays out or not. If we're bullish, if the market's going to turn bullish, this could help NIO bounce. I want to be watching if SPY can break 452 and if Tesla can also bounce. If we break 452, I'm going to turn bullish, and I think that this thing is going to pop even more. Maybe the market makers try to pop the markets because of OPEX. If not, if we fail to break that and we end up losing 448, I will favor the downside. I think that SPY is going to start sinking back down, and we could see this thing eventually break down to 446. If that fails us, the next level is 444 at the 200 EMA. So if we lose 448, I'm bearish. If we break 452, I'm bullish. We'll see which one ends up being the answer for tomorrow. I wish I could predict this time around, but it's going to depend on the options and the expiration and whether or not this head and shoulders plays out. So I'm going to be unbiased, and we'll see what happens from there. For Tesla, Tesla, if this thing is bullish, you want to see it get back above 238 and then 240. If we're bearish, you want to see it lose 229 to 230. The 50, not the 50, the 30 minutes, 200 EMA. I'm going to be watching this very carefully. As of right now, Tesla's looking a bit weak, and this could affect how the whole market ends up seeing it. This could affect many EVs out there, such as NIO. So it all depends on if Tesla holds 230. If we hold it, it could try to rebound. I anticipate it's going to rebound tomorrow, but let's see if it holds or not. If it fails and ends up breaking 230, it's going to turn more bearish, and it's going to be another opportunity on that. For NIO, not looking the strongest. There's a slight bullish wedge developing here, so I might see a little pop towards 7.58, but it needs to get above 7.58 to 7.6 to turn bullish, try to fill this gap and get back to 7.9. It's going to pop towards 7.6 most likely to test that. If it rejects, it's going to start sinking. If it breaks this, it could turn bullish, so we'll just have to wait and see. For Aapl, if we're bullish, you want to see it get back above this 190 resistance to try to close above that and then continue pushing, try to break 191. If we're bearish, it's going to start sinking. Now we have this bearish divergence developing on Aapl. There's no sign of it playing out just yet, unless we get this big rejection right here. We see this thing lose 188. So no confirmation yet. We just want to be patient. On the QQQ, we have a potential bullish accumulation structure that's trying to develop here. We also have a head and shoulders, so it's very mixed. If we're bullish, you want to see it break 388. If you're bearish, you want to see it lose 383.5. We have a head and shoulders, which suggests that there could be downside, but just to be safe, we have to wait and see. So watch the ranges, and we will see from there. For Nvda, it's trying to rebound. It looks pretty decent right now and might try to fill this imbalance and try to retest 500. If it rejects off 500, it could sink right back down. If it ends up breaking it, it could actually turn bullish. So we'll be watching to see that 500 test. We have a possible topping structure here that could form like a double top before it rejects. So we'll have to wait and see if this is forming like an M shape or like a double top right here. It's going to likely try to push up a little higher, but we'll see if it rejects or not. That's going to depend on OPEX and these other technicals out there. So we'll be watching just for confirmation. It's looking a bit more bullish. It looks like it might try to push for 500 and maybe reject or not. So just be careful. Microsoft also has helped the market hold up as it's continuing to hold up too. It might gap down tomorrow towards 375, so we'll see as well. Anyways, for NIO, I'm still in the middle with NIO. I think that we have a bullish wedge, so we could see 7.6. If we break it, we're going to turn bullish. If we reject off of it, if we like pop and then reject, it's going to come right back down towards these lower $7 areas. We'll be watching this very carefully just to see. And until then, I just want to thank every single one of you so much for listening. Just a couple more things. When you look at the 1 hour time frame, NIO is looking a little weak. It looks like it's trying to rebound a bit as we have some nice support at 7. But we're going to be watching this test. Can NIO break 7.6 and turn bullish? Or are we going to reject? That's showing as well on the 1 hour time frame. On the 4 hour, we're seeing the same thing basically developing. That's the 50 EMA to be watching for. And finally, on the daily chart, we have this next looking structure right here. It looks a little weak on the daily, so we'll just have to see how this goes. But for now, it's very important for us to remain calm, cool, and collected. So with that being said, I want to just thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for being a part of this channel. I really appreciate everyone. The market's pretty insane. We're very tight right now, going back and forth between supply and demand. The best thing to do is just be patient and see which way we break. Once again, if SPY breaks 452, we're going to turn bullish. There could be another push thanks to OPEX. I was talking about a potential sell-off that because there was a risk of that, but right now we're not really getting that sell-off. We still have a head and shoulders, but we have to see if it gets that breakout in which direction. Let's see if it breaks below 448 or not. We'll just be patient. We will see how it goes. All right. Thank you for listening. Have a good one and peace out.